Oh, hey YouTube people, it's Chris3325. I'm making a video today about drug policy. Drug policy equals fail. I'm wearing this funny hat because it seems that people on YouTube will ignore you if you're a fat person, so I put on this hat so you can look at the hat instead of look at the fat. Then you can think about what I'm saying. I'm for the legalization of all drugs, and I'm going to tell you why. Whenever the government talks about drugs, they talk about crime, right? Drug crimes and drug gangs and drug money. The third one is the key there, drug money. There'd be no drug gangs, gang violence, if there weren't drug money. Now, who allows the drug money to get into the hands of the criminals? The government, the prohibitionists. The war on drugs isn't a very good term. Prohibition is the term. Now, you think of prohibition, you're thinking of, gangsters back in the 20s and shit like that. That's what comes to your mind when you think prohibition. Did that work? No, folks, it didn't work. We learned it relatively quickly. But we've been doing this prohibition against drugs way longer than we did that. Over 70 years for marijuana and less for the other ones, but they've been outlawed since they were discovered to be, dangerous. Now, drugs are bad, okay? I'm an avid pot smoker. I'm not right now. I'm on probation. I haven't actually gotten on probation yet. I'm actually going on Monday to go to that shit. But I quit smoking a couple months ago in preparation for this. But, so you might consider me biased, considering I actually smoke pot. But, there's lots of other people. I would recommend you go to... you visit a group called LEAP. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of them, but I'm sure a lot of people haven't. It's called Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. I'm going to put a link in the thing. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction. One of these directions, there will be a link. See what LEAP does. LEAP is a group of former judges, DEA agents, police officers, police chiefs, so on and so forth. Talk about why the war on drugs is a failure, but you can go talk to them and get their deal on it. I don't want to speak for them. They have their arguments very well thought out. But I just want to give you... God damn it. See, that's from this drug. One that's still legal. Oh, and by the way, the people that make those wonderful anti-marijuana commercials, you want to know who gives them most of their funding? Tobacco companies and the alcohol companies. Imagine that. Isn't that a little weird? But anyway, so under the current law, if you're a crackhead and you are arrested with some crack, more often than not you're going to end up in jail. Maybe not the first time or the second time, but eventually you're going to end up in prison for smoking crack. See, they've taken what is a medical problem and made it into a criminal problem. How do they think that putting a crackhead in jail is going to help anyone? It's not making me feel any safer. I'm sure it's not making him feel any safer, because now somebody who might not have been a criminal in any other way is put into a box with a bunch of other real criminals, violent people, and all he did was smoke a substance. Crack is bad for you, but the way to fix it is not to incarcerate these people. The answer is not incarceration, because A, he can get crack in jail. You can get any fucking drug you want in prison. And, that alone should tell you that the war on drugs is impossible, because if they can't keep fucking crack out of a place where people can stick their hands up your asses to check for shit, and they go through all your mail, and they go through all their shit, how the fuck do you expect to keep drugs out of the community? But anyway, so this crackhead's in jail, You know, maybe he gets clean, maybe he doesn't, probably not, but let's say he does. But now he's a felon because crack cocaine is one of those drugs where possession of it is a felony. So now he's a felon. He's on parole or whatever. He can't get a job. Nobody wants to fucking give a job to a felon, a crackhead. This stigma we put on these people. Nobody wants to give them a job, at least not any place where the living that you earn off of it is legitimate. I mean, maybe he can get a job at McDonald's, but okay, you know, he's making minimum wage at McDonald's. So his life is pretty much set out for him from that day forward. His life is going to be shit. He's not going to be able to achieve, well, he's been blocked from achieving the same things that the rest of you clean people are allowed to do. So now, what's his incentive? What's his incentive to not do the drug? Because even if he learned that doing the drug will get him sent to prison, he also learned that getting sent to prison is, you know, going to ruin his life anyway. His life's already been ruined. He's already gone to prison. He's screwed. He's not going to be able to, you know, participate in society at the level of anybody else. So what's his options? You know, obviously, do more fucking drugs. That's why people do hard drugs, because they have some serious problems, or they have problems that they get from starting to do the hard drugs, and then the only solution in their mind, since our country doesn't offer any real solution other than incarceration, is to just keep doing the drugs. What else would he do? He has nothing else to do. And that's the only fucking option that you prohibitionists have given this country. Just incarcerate, incarcerate, incarcerate. What the fuck do you expect? You know, Prohibition, the war on drugs, is creating the violence. Prohibition is making these drugs far cheaper and easier to obtain. Under Prohibition, a drug dealer who is the sole source of drugs, and any of you that smoke pot know that you hate fucking going to a drug dealer. Anybody that likes going and buying drugs obviously hasn't done it very many times. It's no fun, no matter where you're going. But you know, they've given all the selling is in the hands of the drug dealer, the criminal. Now, I'm no fan of drug dealers. They're a necessity, but I don't like them. Those are the real criminals. Anyway, these drug dealers have sole control. They can sell this shit wherever the fuck they want. They can sell it at your schools. They can sell it, God forbid, at the churches. They can sell it wherever the fuck they want. If it was legal and the control of the drugs was entirely in the hand of the government, they get to decide where these drugs are distributed. You have alcohol, for instance. You high school kids, you fucking know this shit. It's easier for you to get a fucking bag of weed than it is for you to get a six-pack of beer. It's harder because there's control on the beer. There's control on the distribution of the alcohol. There's no control on the distribution of the marijuana. Anybody can fucking get that shit. There's no profit in selling beer illegally because people can get it legally. If you make the drugs legal, people are going to buy them legally. I don't know a single fucking person who would rather go buy pot illegally than if they could just go down to the party store and pick up a dime bag of fucking OG Kush or some fucking AK-47 or White Widow, whatever the fuck they want. They can get it. They can get it there, they can get it legally, and the profits are going to pay some of the, you know, $10 trillion we have in national debt. I heard a figure somewhere, I don't know if this is true, but it sounds right to me, that if they were to legalize marijuana and tax it at the same rate that they tax tobacco, they could wipe out the national debt in 10 years or maybe less. This figure I do know is true. The number one, I don't know the actual amount of money, but I know the ranking. The number one cash crop in America is fucking corn. Legal cash crop is corn. The number one illegal cash crop is marijuana, and it brings in about twice as much money as corn. Not to mention all the other properties. It's not really the marijuana, it's hemp. That's another thing people don't understand, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, drug policy equals fail. Check this shit out. Check out the links